Hey guys, Brett Allegra-Wood here, author of the 3+1 Plan and chairman of YPC Group, where we help you to build a thriving property portfolio so you can live the lifestyle you've always dreamed of, but in such a way that you're not creating a second job or actually working yourself into an early grave. So what I wanted to do today was we've been running the webinars now for a while, and we've compiled hundreds of questions that you guys have been asking. So I want to take those, and what I've done is I've broken them down into a number of really key questions that most of you guys are repeatedly asking. And what I've done is I want to present them to you so you get that level of education. I've always been a massive supporter of free education. And so that's what I want to do for you guys today, is really give you, I guess, what most people out there are concerned about in the market now, about property investment, about strategies, about structures, about all sorts of things, the questions that you guys have been asking. So, it's not now me telling you what you should be thinking, it's you guys actually feeding back. And I love that about the social media, and I love that about webinars. So yeah, sit back, relax, and let's get started. So guys, today's questions, it's one that we don't get too often, I must admit. I think the type of clients we work with, they're a little bit older, they're a little bit more mature, and they're a little bit more, or they've come to the realization that actually building a portfolio properly, safely, securely is gonna take a bit of time. But so the question is starting with nothing, I want to fast track and retire in 5 years. Now, this come from, it was actually a 37-year-old, so about my age, 37-year-old, who basically has no equity, got a good income, but wants to start from nothing and retire within 5 years. Now, it's interesting because I'll go to the end, and the point that I make at the end is, look, I still haven't done it. And the interesting thing is that I've been in property for 15 years. I still haven't got to the point where I think I can comfortably retire with what I've got. Now, let me explain that, because really, I can actually sell off, I could get rid of the business, I could restructure a few things, and I could actually live a really comfortable lifestyle and not have to work. But would it be the lifestyle of my choosing? No, it wouldn't be. I'd have to settle for on some things. It'd be a nice lifestyle, but to be fair, what I find in building this is that you start off wanting, I want to retire in 5 years. And when I first set my very first goal, I wanted to retire by the time I was 30. And looking back at it now, I think that was such a stupid thing to say. It was such a naive, 20-year-old comment, And the reason was quite simple, because I hadn't allowed for the fact that right at that stage, if I had a 7 Series BMW, I would have been over the moon. That would have been the best car in the world. But now I've got a 7 Series BMW, I realise that there's other cars out there that, and there's other fun toys to have, and there's other lifestyle options. And now also, having Amani, our daughter, I realise that actually there's education to be paid for. There's all these sort of things. So, realistically, you find that as you move along and as your portfolio grows, so too do what you expect out of life grows. And that costs more money, so you're going to need more. So for me, the other question is, it's not about 5 years or 10 years. It's not actually about retirement. Because for me, I've got the choice if I wanted to, and I have to restructure a few things and change a few things, and probably disappoint a few people, to be fair, including myself, okay? But I could do it, but I wouldn't, okay? And the reason is this, is because if you look at the type of person that I am, and I'm sure some of you guys, especially the entrepreneurs out there, can associate with this, is that I'm one of these people, you put me on holidays on a beach, a deserted beach for 3 weeks, and probably after 3 hours of sitting on the beach, I'm looking for something to do, something to challenge me, something to actually, drive me. Now, Arlene, my wife, she's happy to sit there for 3 weeks doing nothing. Now, I'm sure now with a daughter that probably wouldn't be the case. But the fact is for me, I've got to have something driving me. So retirement for me just seems actually like one of those things that, I'll put off for as long as I possibly can. But, for you guys, it might be different. But I wanted to sort of explain that up front. Now, can this person retire within 5 years? Yes, absolutely they can. But I can tell you, it's going to be a bloody hard slog, okay? You're going to have to really focus your energies in, and you're going to have to take some risks. And realistically, the question is, if you haven't got to a point where you've got something, you're saying you've got nothing at the moment, then the question is, why haven't you so far? And if you're 37, you've got nothing, then either you've been undisciplined, all right, or you've lived a lifestyle, all these sort of things. The question is to do that in 5 years, that's going to be, and I'll put it this way, it's going to be lots of work. Simple, but not easy. So it's not going to be easy, it's going to be simple. The principles are simple, it's just not easy. You've got to do some hard work. All right, now, I want to come back here because it depends on your stage of life. If you're talking to me and you're saying that statement when you're a 20-year-old, really your focus is what I say, women, wine and song. You're not focused on investment, you're not focused on retirement, you're focused on having a good time for the most part. You know, exploring all that life has to offer while you're still young and still can run around doing that. When you get to your 30s, you're more focused on your family, you know, establishing your family, establishing a base, your home, okay? So investment doesn't really come into these two things. So if you're gonna do it here, you're gonna need to almost sacrifice some other stuff, okay? When you're 40s or 50s, now you're settled into your home, you've got things, now you're starting to look forward and go, actually, I need to provide for the kids' education. So these are your prime times to really bed down and start investing, okay? So if you're sitting here now, can you do it in 5 years? Yes, you probably can, because you've probably got a capital base already built. All right, 67-year-olds, now put ages there, and I'm not even sure if I spelled it right, but it doesn't matter. The fact is what I find with most 60 to 7-year-olds is they are the ageless ones. It's not that I dislike 60 or 70-year-olds, it's that I find that by that stage, they've given up on a lot of their dreams because they think that it's all over. They can't get mortgages. Can't do that. Oh, you know, I need to settle down. I need to look at retirement. No, you don't. You've still got some really good years ahead of you, okay? My grandmother is 87 this year and she still drives a car. She still gets around, you know? So the fact is you've got some good years ahead of you. You can still be the investor here. It just might mean that you've got to take a little bit less risk. You've got to do it a bit more, you know, safe and steadily, okay? But the fact is whatever the age group, you can do it. It is going to be bloody hard, all right? Now, passive income, and this is what we're really talking about. When we're talking about being able to retire, what we really need is a passive income, and that means our investment income minus our lifestyle, all of our expenses, whether it be paying debts or whether it be going to the milk bar or whatever, okay, is positive, okay? Because we don't want to be eating into our savings and that sort of thing. So if this is the case, then you've achieved that. Once you get to that level, or once you get to a position where you can get into that level, then really you've got the choice of retirement. And what I'm saying to most of you guys out there now is that when you have the choice to retire, you'll actually choose not to retire. Most of you will choose to do something. Now sure, you may be like my parents now, they work 4 days a week, okay? Because they've got other things to do. But the fact is they've got to the position where they can do that, so now they can actually choose to work 4 days rather than 5 or 6. All right, I want to come over here because these are some of the barriers you face or some of the problems that you are going to face and that are going to stop you from getting this 5-year mark. See, I don't say 5 years. I reckon 7 to 10 years, anyone can do it, even starting from nothing, okay? They can get into a really good position to retire if they want to or have that as a choice, okay? Now, ego, and what I've said, rush, because what I tend to find, the moment you put a timeline on it, you're going to try and rush everything, and you're going to try and do everything up front. Now, whatever you do, property takes some time to build, and it's going to build slowly, frustratingly slow at the start, but then it builds momentum, and as it builds momentum, you know, and then when the market comes into it, you know, because if the market's shooting up, it's a lot easier to do it than if the market's sitting stagnant or going down, okay? Now, the problem is with all this ego, you know, I'm going to do this in 5 years, I'm going to do this, I'm going to rush it, you're going to make mistakes. So you got to account for those mistakes because they will set you back. You'll buy the wrong property, it won't sell as easy as you thought it will. You realize that actually the gurus you've been speaking to perhaps have lied because most of the gurus in the market aren't gurus. What they are is good salespeople, okay? And you got to be wary of that. And unless you back that up with some really good education and some really good experience, then you are going to make mistakes, okay? So, and more importantly, and this is probably the most fundamental thing, emotional barriers. Because you haven't done it before and because it's building something new that you're not used to, you're going to be faced with all these barriers that you've got to overcome. And how quickly you overcome those and how quickly you can get through those will determine whether you make your 5 years or not. So guys, what I would say is rather than putting a timeline on it, because when you really look at how to build a portfolio, when you understand it, you realize that actually it doesn't take 5 years to change your life. It can take 6 months. Most of the people we work with, within 6 months of working with us, even if they've only bought 1 or 2 properties, the way they think about investment, the way they think about the future changes. And that's the amazing part of what I do on a day-to-day basis, is I see people come in full of fear, full of mistaken beliefs, believing myths, all these sort of things, listening to gurus, having lost money, having spent, you know, one person the other day, £15,000 on education, you know, going to courses, and they still didn't have a property. You know, so when I see people come in like that, and within 6 months, all of a sudden they think differently. Their vocabulary is very different. The way they approach things is very different. That makes a massive change because that ripples out amongst their whole life, okay? And this will come, you know, the 5 years retirement, the big portfolio, all that will come. But the changes that actually make, you know, life amazing happen very early. Okay, guys, so really, you know, I think the problem with putting these things in the 5 years and starting from nothing, there's so many variables at play here. And if you're sitting in this situation, or any situation in fact, and you're not sure of what the next step is, then really you've got to call somebody. And that's why we're here. Give us a call, you know, have a chat with us. And even if you have, you know, a 3-hour chat on the phone or come in and meet with us, and what we'll do is we'll map out a very specific plan of how you can take advantage not only of this market, but any market, and how you can hold through any of those markets. And really, so you can, starting with whatever, yeah, that you can fast track, well, you know, whatever, you know, and retire eventually, or have the choice of retirement, more importantly. Because for me, that's much more what life is about. The choice, you know, the lifestyle choices. Okay guys, thanks very much. So guys, I'm sure you found that information really valuable. The first step really now is that you need to get a plan. You need to actually, you know, work out exactly how you're going to put this in place. So what I encourage you to do is come in and sit down with us, talk to us, you know, grab a coffee with us. And what we can do is we can actually start mapping out what your plan is. Guys, I'm looking forward to meeting you real soon at either one of our webinars or perhaps a seminar, or if you come to one of our offices around the world. Have a great day, and remember, live with passion.